Hello everyone. Thank you so much for being the part of this webinar. My name is Shanawaz. I take care of corporate strategies here with Digital Vidya. So today we are going to have a very interesting session on mobile analytics, so which is driving consumer insights. So we have Theodore here. He heads analytics at iProspect Communication too. So as we all know that the smartphone usage is rising and continuously to shake up the businesses operations in India. So in order to increase the penetrations altogether, so analytics is being a very integral part, right, in terms of analyzing how the overall scenario is working in order to take the business strategies for every businesses. So now today we have Theo, who will be taking care of the entire, business analytics with iProspect. So you will be sharing a lot of insight how analytics could drive businesses to next level and take care of a lot of strategic decisions altogether. So some of the takeaway that you can take from this particular session is certainly going to be how mobile could be a beneficial platform in terms of penetration in India for any businesses, and understand what difference between mobile and web analytics, and then followed by that how mobile solution can fit your business, understanding the key matrices and driving consumer insights. So I will hand over the session to Theo. He would take this forward. Theo, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Okay, thank you very much, yeah. It's nice and clear, is it? Just to check?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine to my end. I think everybody is also, everybody can hear you as well.
So yeah, I'll just jump right in, I suppose. Do let me know if you can't hear me and things like that. So mobile in India essentially is on the rise. So it's the fastest growing market in the mobile space. There's over 950 million mobile users, and there's just under 1 billion telephone subscribers, that's including landlines. And there's 40 to 60 rural to urban split of that. And we're experiencing an 82% growth year on year in smartphones. And at the moment, there's in the region of 230 million mobile internet users. And Indians, on average, spend about 3 hours, 18 minutes a day on their smartphones. And a third of this time is on mobile apps. 56% of the time, users have access to mobile broadband network. Right? And another thing is 40% of major screen share also goes to smartphone. And a big thing which I find is a lot of clients I have, 25% of their website is mobile traffic. And generally this proportion of traffic is the most uncatered for proportion, right? So most clients will vigorously test and UI UX test websites, but they seem to leave behind mobile. And mobile percentage of the traffic is year on year increasing, and it might even overtake desktop for percentage of traffic. So I'm just going to quickly go through the mobile solutions. So basically, with mobiles, you need to think about how you're going to cater for your business need. And one of the things you have is different types of apps. Now, I wanted to cover this because I don't think there's much understanding of the different types of apps out there and how they might affect your analytics mobile solution, right? So different apps means different implementations are needed when you come to install your mobile analytics software. But they also give you different benefits and things like that. So I'll just so basically we have 3 mobile types of app. Native app are specifically given to a mobile platform, iOS usually or Android, using development tools and language that the respective platforms supports. For example, Xcode and Objective-C with iOS, Ellipse and Java with Android. Native apps look and perform the best. They drive the best user experience. Also, we got HTML5 apps. They use standard web technologies, typically HTML5, JavaScript, and CSS. This write once, run anywhere sort of approach to mobile development creates cross-platform mobile applications that work on multiple devices. While developers can create sophisticated apps in HTML5 and JavaScript alone, there are some vital limitations, to say, that remain at the time of this writing, specifically session management, secure offline storage, and access to native device functionality. So what I mean by that is like your camera, your geolocation, calendar, things like that. And then the last type of app is a hybrid app, which is the most interesting. A hybrid app is basically a native app with embedded HTML5 or M.dot web pages, right? It makes it possible to embed HTML5 apps inside a native container, so combining the best and worst elements of native and HTML5. So what essentially that means is you take a native app and you open it in your phone. It opens as if it's a native app with screen views, and then within that app, you call the web pages in and out, right? So if you have a mobile site, you can increase your visibility and reach by putting a wrapper. Often you can buy these off the shelf, right? And turning your mobile website into a hybrid app. And this can be made, and you can then make it available on places like the App Store or Google Play stores or other downloading app downloading sites as a way to reaching your customer with your brand. The one thing you need to keep in mind, though, with the hybrid app is you've got two different tracking sort of problems. With a native app, you can put something called an SDK, and an SDK is a software development kit, and it basically embed that into your app, and it tracks your screen views and your normal mobile analytics. But a hybrid app, you've got both on native and web pages. Now, web pages, if you take a Google Analytics example, require a tag. So when you move from your native to your hybrid, pulling your web pages into your app, you have a problem with keeping session unification, and so it becomes very difficult to track. So you need to keep these sort of solutions in mind when looking at developing apps. So I'm just going to quickly go through the benefits of apps. There's basic tools available on the market, i.e. like Plum5 is a great tool to help personalize the app to your customer based on browsing history, for example. You can also allow the customer to personalize his app on his own. An example would be HDFC Bank app. It can be customized, personalized, based on an individual user requirement. That means the customers are more likely to be retained, because if you have an app which then he's personally put effort into and personalized, he's less likely to go to your competitor and download another one unless your app is flawed in some way. It can also help reinforce your brand. What I mean by that is with your app on a user phone, you're not far from their mind. Every time you flick through your phone, your app's there, which means your brand's there, right? And so when they move into the buying space or down lower in that purchasing funnel, your brand will be foremost on recall. Another thing you can do, increase your visibility. Simplistically, apps are another marketing touch point with your brand, or with your customer, sorry. However, local targeting in search is a very good way apps can increase visibility of brands. 50% of mobile users are likely to visit a store after conducting a mobile search. And then you've got increased accessibility. Apps open a new distribution channel, as I talked about, like putting a wrap around the mobile website. You can put it in the App Store, Google Play stores, and other app downloading sites. Then you've got increased sell-through, right? So increased sell-through is an example here would be Mintra.com. It's one of our premium clients for Google Analytics, and they feel the sell-through of the app is good enough that they no longer need the website. The ease of purchase is increased when on their app. So they're shutting down their desktop site completely in May, which is a big move, especially for India. Increased exposure across mobile devices. So you can retarget your customers with push notifications and app targeting campaigns. It's a good, if you have your app installed, you can grant access to your customer wherever they are. It also connects customers connect you with customers with on-the-go customers. Customers are more likely to connect with your brand on the go if you've downloaded the app. And it's a very rich data source, not necessarily just mobile analytics data, but you can use it to capture things like PII, which is personal information, which marketeers can use in their targeting strategies, things like email, phone numbers, and this kind of thing, right? So now I'm going to go through quickly 5 of the sort of top platforms for analytics used in mobile analytics, and just give you a quick review about how they're good, the downsides and upsides. Starting off with Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics is a wholesome analytics tool provided by Google for free. Google Analytics has something like 20 million GA accounts or plus, 20 million plus GA accounts worldwide, and is the most used worldwide analytics tool. Designed with easy implementation and have years of UI UX testing. So it's easy to integrate into your business, and your employees or teammates will easily take it up, because most people, there's a lot of knowledge about in India on Google Analytics, right? It also has a robust segmentation and filtering, ability to analyze your mobile, web traffic, and ready-to-go SDK. So basically, you just download the SDK, and you can install it in your Android manifest.xml. You also has a cross-device measuring feature through Universal Analytics. So you can see how users have gone from desktop to mobile to tablet and things like that. There is one drawback, however. There's no in-app or push messaging for app retention. So if you're thinking about installing a Google Analytics SDK into your app, you need to think about, maybe you want to push messaging and in-app messaging to sort of recall your app to the user, right? And also, if you're an enterprise level, you get sampling when you cross 10 million hits. Now, sampling is basically a hit to the analytics server. So any action that gets recorded in analytics is a hit. The next one is going to be Localytics. Now, Localytics is quite a robust tool. It's a paid mobile app tool. It caters to businesses such as Marvel, National Geographic, Temple Run, and so on. It caters to apps on all mobile platforms. It's great for publishers' apps. So it does a great job, or blogs, for example. It does a great job of measuring content consumption and engagement, appropriate for both enterprise and SMB. But you keep in mind it's a little on the pricey side, and it is a paid tool. The tools it reports on kind of stuff like app usage, location, device, app version. One of the great features of Localytics is A/B testing. You can allow you to do A/B testing within the analytics tool. And you get the same stuff, the screen flow analysis, funnel segments, cohort-based retention reports, and things like this. Also, as I said, it has the in-app messaging and push messaging. This is a great feature, and lifetime value tracking. Again, like Google Analytics, is another easy-to-use platform. It doesn't require much learning, and it has a lightweight implementation, ready-made SDKs. And then going on to the Google sort of competition, shall I say, Adobe on the chill, Adobe Marketing Cloud, as you may call it. And Adobe provides both web and mobile analytics. It has obviously another SDK ready for most native apps written in Objective-C or hybrid apps based on HTML. It also provides data visualizations and much more detailed insights, and good user engagement reports, retention, and especially monetization. It's really good for monetization. It also provides reports like cohorts analysis and geolocation analysis. The problem however, with Adobe is it's very difficult to learn. Implementation can be quite difficult on the website, and it's not very employee friendly. So you're very much reliant on Adobe support and things like this, right? And then Mixpanel. Mixpanel offers both web again and mobile solution. Strong points to this tool is the real-time data, funnel analysis, in-depth analysis, and cohort analysis to track retention. It's a great tool for tracking retention. It also gives you the ability, like Universal Analytics, to link mobile users and web users. And you can watch real-time events, and it's got a point-and-click interface, which means it's quite easy to click on whatever you want to see. And it's great too if you launch a new app, but it has a few downsides. One of them is a new user acquisition. It does not allow you to pass the cost per click of a user. Cost and revenue cannot be centralized in this tool at segmented level. And it lacks basically advanced features in user acquisition. And then last but not least, Flurry. Flurry is a free website, web tool, analytics tool, sorry. It works on all platforms again. You might know it's been acquired by Yahoo. Flurry is mostly based on user acquisition. It also gives you information about devices, carriers, firmware versions, and errors. And errors are actually really important. Adobe, I forgot to mention also, you can report on crashes, because crashes is a big metric in mobile apps, in the fact that if your app is crashing on multiple devices, it's going to kill your app. Your retention will go and people will just uninstall. And so, especially with the problem with deploying an app solution with is pretty much the multitude of different devices out there, and you have to try and get your app to work on all devices. And so that's definitely a report worth having, because if it doesn't work on a certain device, you're alienating a set of your customers. And there's a rule that Avinash Korshak said. It's like when you purchase any analytical solution, he calls it the 10-90 rule. And the 10-90 rule means basically if you spend $10 on a analytics package, you should spend $90 or equivalent of in resources to analyze that data. Otherwise, you're not using the tool to complete to its full functionality. And you find that a lot, that what happens with my clients especially is they might go and buy the most expensive tool out there, collect a lot of data, and sort of sit on it and feel really proud of themselves because they're sitting on very good quality data, but not actually using the data to generate insights, timely insights which are actionable, right? So I'm just going to quickly go through sort of the mobile metrics versus web, and sort of the business questions you need to ask or what these metrics answer. So a lot of people look at metrics and go, oh, this is a great metrics, I've got total amount of sessions is X amount, but they're not answering any business question. The way you look at analytics or you approach analytics is always on a business solution sort of approach, right? Ask the questions and then go, then you'll find that you'll need analytics to answer them. And then you'll find you'll be driving a lot more value out of your analytics package, right? So why don't metrics work on mobile apps? Well, it's essentially because 90% of website traffic comes from a search engine, generally Google. Google's got quite a big of a market share. There is obviously Yahoo and Bing, and obviously there's different methods like display, affiliates, but generally it all starts at a search engine. And important web metrics would be things like site traffic, number of visitors, but the one thing you might have noticed I've crossed out SEO, and I just wanted to throw this out there because I got asked this a lot by my clients, is it doesn't matter how much you pay for an analytics tool, unfortunately Google no longer shares keyword data. So you cannot find which keywords are driving your business. And I know that might be a lot of pain points for those SEO guys out there and some of your marketing guys, but you can get some partial data through webmasters tools, right? And so these are sort of, you've got to ask the questions of like, how do your users reach brands? So this slide, important metrics for website exploration, number of page views, how users navigate through the website, how much content did they consume? Was the content engaging? Is that content accessible? These are the metrics that might help you answer these questions. Again, for nurturing emails, emails is for B2B is a big channel for B2B clients, right? And you need to ask the questions like, are users opening those emails? Are they engaging the email? You know, gives insights into, this gives insights into email campaigns any good. Am I just wasting money? Am I just spamming people, right? And then last but not least, in terms of web metrics, is the sort of conversion or the conversion path, measuring how much am I selling, the number of conversions, what value or what is the value of those sales. Also, sorry, is my offer driving those sales? You know, what is my ROAS, return on ad spend? You know, what's my revenue per visitor? And then we look at apps. Now apps are very different, right? 90% of apps get downloaded through App Store or Google Play Store. So you need to, the important metric be App Store optimization. Category rank. Am I ranking well in my category? Am I competing against my competitors? Is my app accessible? And are users liking my app? App rating is a very big thing in apps, because if you've got a really bad rating, that's going to really have a detrimental effect on the number of downloads and people downloading your app and using it, right? Before you even started. And another one is when you actually click on the app, and you've got the app listing page, in app listing review to download, the questions are you selecting my app? Do they want my app? Are they activating it, right? So these are metrics you need to pay attention to. And then next is app exploration, similar to web exploration, but it's more like how are they using my app extensively? Is it engaging? Are consumers are they consuming content on my app? What's driving their engagement? What's not driving their engagement? And then last on the mobile app, in terms of bucketing users, is definitely needed for more personalized messaging. So if you're nurturing push and in-app messages, you need to really segment those users down and get the message right for them. What's your open rate? Is my communication enticing? Is my click-through? What's my click-through? Are users interested? Are users regularly returning? And what's my monthly average users? And then at the purchase funnel, we've got, is my app driving business? Where can I improve my conversion funnel? And this bit is like a lot of people, when they do conversion optimization, they'll look at these metrics and they'll look at the end point, like the add to cart sort of side, and try and optimize that. But you really need to look at the consumer journey from the moment of acquisition to the moment of conversion, and you need to streamline it as much as possible. And by streamlining it is make it as little steps to your consumer to get to that conversion. And these are good metrics to evaluate that. And so best metrics are basically uncomplex, relevant, timely, and instantly useful. To give you an example, my favorite metrics is a bounce rate, right? Single page view visits, easy to understand, explain and propagate. It's enough said, it's uncomplex. Relevant, it identifies where you're wasting marketing sales rupees and which pages stink when it comes to delivering on the sent. Those two things apply to most web businesses, right? And timely, bounce rate is now standard in pretty much nearly every web or mobile analytics tool in every report, so very nice. And is it instantly useful? You can just look at what needs attention, right? What needs to stop? You need to see 25 to 30% of bounce rate for your website. Instantly, things are going fine. That's about benchmark average. If you've got, by the way, 2%, you've got an implementation issue. If you look at a page with 50% bounce rate, and it needs attention, and if you see a campaign or a keyword with 70% bounce rate, there's a lot of fire, right? So it's a very good metric to sort of go dive in and say what needs to be fixed. And next is driving consumer insight, right? Now, how I do that in iProspect is we deploy something called a digital measurement strategy. You need to really get a good understanding of your business and get for me, get my clients to ask those important analytical questions. What are my KPIs? What are my key business requirements? And then once you find that, where's my revenue coming from? That sort of thing. How's my customer? What's my conversion path? When you know that, you start off by making sure everything along that conversion path is tracked 100%. Any deviation, that they can always come back, right? So you're making sure that any deviation off the conversion path, maybe they've gone to look at a tool, and that tool helps them make a better decision, right? Then if you don't put something like a buy button on that tool and don't deviate them back to that conversion path, then you're going to be in trouble. And analytics can help you see that, right? You can see, oh, he's gone to this page, but then suddenly this all bounced off, or they've gone to this screen and suddenly they've closed the app. Right? Analytics are a very good thing to see where you're going wrong and why users, and it's not a bad thing that users are coming off the conversion path. You just need to make sure the door's nice, widely open, and very well signposted this way to convert, right? So every page you want to know what your main action point for your consumer is. And it's generally on an e-commerce site, it's a buy, obviously. So everywhere you want to be able to buy, there should always be a buy button, right? Analytics, as I said, you can use it to solve problems, but you have to start asking the right questions. The other thing you need to think about is Avinash Korshek's term is hippos. I don't know if you've heard this before, but hippos means highest person's paid opinion. Now, this can have a detrimental effect on websites because quite often you'll have the highest person paid opinion have great expertise offline, especially in India, like with print, TV, and all things. Now, digital is quite a new medium in terms of, in India, it's not new, but it's a new medium in India, and the expertise is not so much there, and these hippos, per se, don't have as much expertise in the digital space. Right? So when they have their, oh, this worked on TV, and then they decide to stick it online, this can really stop your data-driven insights and your these good, actionable business decisions being made. So as an analyst, you have to make sure you're painting the picture for your top management, or you're getting, if you're a top management person, you're getting a good painted picture of what's happening online. And that's data. You need data to drive these things, right? And you should try and, especially for digital, you should definitely try and stay away from experience. And it does help, of course, but actually more be data driven, because advertising online is the most easily measurable advertising. It's most easily measurable to measure advertising online, right? So the other thing is user behavior and expectations can change greatly from device to device. Keep in mind how users' experience is expected by screen size, GPS features, phone speeds, and more the while building a strategy to increase exposure. Examine analytics to discover how visitors engage with your brand through mobile. Analyze any obstacles and opportunities. Develop strategies based on the needs and behaviors of your audience and the channels that are most effective at generating engagement. Right? Now, I just want to go through some of the no-nos that you find. Now, vanity metrics. A metric by itself, although I've just went through a slide of what metrics might answer business questions, standalone, they're actually not much use. Vanity metrics, for example, number of downloads, is like, if you think about it, if I download your app and I use it once, think it's rubbish, and then uninstall it, what use is that? I might have had an amazing campaign where I spent a lot of money producing downloads, but a really good rate, really good CTR and everything, but then as soon as they download, they just get rid of the app. It's not driving you any additional value or any business, right? And things like these are vanity metrics that people can get stuck up on. Total number of sessions, total number, total time, sort of things like this, right? Downloads are just not enough. You need to drive more than one-time usage. An astounding 25% of people download an app use it one time only. And actually, that was back in 2010. And now 2014, the app space is getting flooded, and it's flooded with a lot of these hybrid apps. I say you can actually expose your brand online, but you have to be clever about this. You can't just go, oh, I've got my mobile site, it works on web, I'm going to stick it in a wrapper, nice and easy, and stick it online, stick it in an app store. Because what you'll end up with is people will download the app, they'll rate it bad, and they'll only use it once, right? And the other thing about driving insights is one of my favorite slides, segment or buy. Now, if you don't segment your users, you're not driving any insight. You are just going down the wrong path. No user is the same, and the more you can segment, and the more you can get it down to a very granular level, like a user level, the much better your insights are going to be. Now, ideally, we'd make insights for every single consumer by themselves individually, but that's not possible. So what we try and do is make the most micro buckets we can. Now, so the reason why you have to segment or die is because if you combine, for example, paid traffic, is completely different behavior to organic. They have completely different behavior. If you are into SEM and SEO, you'll know that paid traffic will go, you'd send to a landing page, and SEO, you'd send to, basically you're trying to get them to the most relevant content as well. So they come in naturally. So it's the content sort of thing. So they've got very different behaviors. You have definitely. So basically, moving on, that's how we start to measure success in business. So I follow this model. You may have seen it before, the RR model, a bit of a pirate one. And I like to look at it in a sort of three-stage way. So I look at acquisition and sort of cohort, and a funnel, and a trend. And so I'll go through what I mean, right? So acquisition, how the users find you. The cohort would be the percentage of people who download the product by day, right? Activation, a cohort would be the percentage of users who activate the product by the date of download. The funnel for the activation would be percentage of users who download the product and use it more than one time to fill out a profile or to register. And the trend would be how this changes behavior, or how the user behavior changes over time. And then retention, are you retaining your customer? Percentage of users who use an app more than once by date of download. There's great metrics to have in the cohort analysis. Funnel would be percentage of users who use the app more than once and who go to use the app more than a lot more. And then the trend would be change in number of loyal users over time. Revenue, a very important one. Percentage of users who use the app more than once and then go on to complete an in-app purchase. The funnel would be percentage of users who move from step maybe 3 to 4 in the purchase funnel. And then the trend would be the change in our ARPU, average revenue per user, over time. And then referral, percentage of users who leave a review by date of activation. Would be the cohort. The funnel would be percentage of users who post a product review after being exposed by, let's say, 2 photos. And the trend would be change in sentiment over time. So this is a very good way of how to start measuring how successful you are. And I start with these 5 metrics as a sort of, if I've got no direction in terms of business intelligence from the client, I will start with these 5, and I'll start. That's a good starting point for your digital measurement strategy, right? And another thing is I like to go across is how mature is your business? Now this is a really good slide to sort of benchmark yourself, right? You want to benchmark where you are, and it gives you a good idea of where you can improve your mobile analytical ability. Now what I find is most clients of mine, or most businesses, and we run analytics across over 60 plus clients in major sectors including banks, e-commerce, travel, all sorts. And they're all sitting pretty much smack bang at level 3, which they're followers. They're not quite getting to, a lot of them have native apps because they have the enterprise budgets, but they're not getting the real-time insights into the user base, analysis, mobile-driven campaigns, and things like that. So between 3 and 4 is actually where I'm finding most of our clients. We like to bring them up, when they've worked with us for enough time, we like to bring them up to the 4 to 5 level. That takes a long time. But there's a very good slide to start benchmarking yourself. And good mobile analytics can help persuade decision makers that the ROI in taking the next mobile maturity level. What the return on investment from going from level 3 to level 4. And ways the analyst should mature the business and that kind of thing. And to sort of finish towards the end, it's the way to demonstrate the value of a mobile channel. Basically, you always want to take a baseline performance and compare different channels coming through mobile, maybe paid or organic. The most important one, I would think, is you get what I call an economic value report. And what that is basically when you start monetizing actions. And not necessarily just like monetize actions in terms of conversion equals X amount of revenue, more like any interaction which brings you brand value or business value. It might be a Facebook like which turns into, or a Facebook share which turns into traffic coming to your website. And you need to put values on this. So it's a good idea to set goals of anything on anything that might add brand business value to your business. And when you set those goals, add a value to them. And after a while, you'll realize that you'll be able to actually assign a correct value. For example, a Facebook share, you might not think it's going to bring you any business, but then you might realize that your Facebook traffic from Facebook coming in is increased because of that Facebook share. And now that Facebook traffic, 0.1 converts. So then you can then back calculate your value of that Facebook share, or the average value, right? And discover optimization opportunities. Don't just look at the end funnel where people buy. Look at the start to finish. Quite often, businesses fail because of not necessarily bad products. They have so much faith in their products, and the user has no interest in them. And analytics is a great tool to actually put data to that, to tell a business your product sucks, or a businessman they will obviously they will not listen and they will just boom. But if you put data to this, it can help you, not necessarily persuade them, but help you persuade that you need to change your offering to the consumer. You need to. It's not engaging enough. It's whatever it may be. It needs to be changed, and you can give insights to how that can be changed. And that's right from the beginning of acquisition of your customer, and you can optimize all the way through their app exploration, all the way to their purchase, right? So coming to the end, I've got a challenge which we can do while we do the questions. It's the Metrics BFF challenge, and the Metrics BFF challenge is my challenge to you guys is to pair up the metrics, because each metric as standalone is not good. It doesn't actually give you any insights. And if you pair them up with the right metrics, you can get very valuable insights. And then after the questions, we'll go through what I consider the answers, but there might be more combinations than I put down, okay? So how would you like to go through the questioning? I'll put that to the organizer. Has anyone got any questions at this point?
Yeah, a couple of questions that I have. Let me read down the questions. You can probably. A question that is, some applications have ethical policies that keep them from segmenting data from user policy. How bad can that be?
So some applications policies stops them segmenting user data from which policy?
User policy.
User policy.
Right, absolutely.
So can you elaborate on that? 'Cause I'm not sure. I can understand that application policy means you can stop. It's a user privacy question, right? User privacy.
Yeah, it's saying some applications have ethical policies that keep them from segmenting data from user policy. How bad that can be? So probably question is not incomplete. Let me ask the the person.
Oh, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. In terms of my quick answer to that is, if you have an app that stops you segmenting user data, you're the business person who's put that app, developed that app. Why would you develop it in such a way you can't get the relevant data out of it? You know, if it's against your own policy, it's your data. Sure, I don't understand it in that space.
Yeah. The second question is mixed panel a good option?
Mixed panel
is a good option.
They're the top 5 most used I've seen. It is a good option, but then it's not. It depends what you want, right? You've really got to ask yourself, what pricing bracket you're at. What sort of it starts from basically the pricing for mixed panels, $150 per month. So it's a lot cheaper than, and you have a free version available. So it's a lot cheaper than a lot of other apps. So I put basically an expensive, a cheap, free version on there, right? And it depends what you're looking at. When you have your key business requirement and you're looking at your digital measurement strategy, you know exactly what you want to measure. Now, for mixed panel, I said that new user acquisition doesn't allow you to pass cost click per user, which means if you're looking at that and that's really key to your business, it's definitely not the product for you. A strong point would be real-time data. If you're doing something, if you're interested in actual, like maybe you're sitting there ready to message people coming onto your app, then real-time analytics data is really useful. It's got good funnel analysis, it's got good in-depth. But they all got their strong points and their weak points. They're all relatively similar in terms of get you the base metrics, but how well you can segment differs and things like that. So you really need to look at business requirement and then apply your app, your analytical solution on top, right?
All right. Before going to yeah, perfectly fine. Before going to next question, there is a small poll that I want to take. So I request everybody to take out a minute and then poll for this. Just give me a second. Yeah, please. So the next question is, any views on what will be critical to success of mobile commerce solution one, second mobile payment solution or digital wallet solution? Yeah, Theo.
I think the digital wallet solution is a great one. Now, the problem with the digital wallet solution, if you can pay cash, then that's a bit of a tricky, sort of sticky area. If you can top up your digital wallet with cash, I think you're going to be that solution is going to be quids in India. I think you'll find a lot of people will start buying with the digital wallet. And what was the other two again? I've forgotten the other two already. So one was the digital wallet, one was the sort of checkout process, right?
Perfect.
Hello?
Perfect. These are the many questions that we had as for now. So thank you so much everybody for joining in, and we have already got a lot of response coming in. Just give me a second. One more question that we have got right now. Is Appsler a good mixed panel?
Is Appsler as good as Mixpanel?
Right.
Yeah, Appsler is a very big one. It's so the reason I put Mixpanel in there is actually I've seen Mixpanel used more. So not only have I a bit more expertise on it, so I'm not so familiar with Appsler, but I do know I have a client who uses it and he swears by it. So that's pretty much what I can tell you about Appsler, unfortunately, because I'm just giving it from my own experience. But yeah, Appsler is definitely up there with the top in the top 10 for sure. If you go any sort of app reviews and things like that, it's definitely up there.
Perfect. So these many questions which we're coming across, I think everybody have asked the questions and you have already answers to these many questions. I think anything else that you want to share? And
Is anyone want to have a go at this challenge? I haven't. See, I've got the answers. Would you like me to show you through the answers? Has everyone had a go at this BFFF metrics challenge? Combine the right metrics with each other. My next slide is my take on it. Would you like to see that?
Sure, we have a couple of minutes there. You can show that as well. I think Theo, I think we are already about to finish it up, right?
So I'll just quickly skip through this one.
Sure. That would be great.
Yeah. So this is what I put. So I don't know what you guys have put, but click-through rate and bounce rate, sessions and users, time on app and screen views per session, and conversion rate app order value. And I'll give you the reason why. Click-through rate is a great metric for it's a great metric for stopping people sort of that spray gun strategy of advertising. they spray everywhere and no one clicks on their ads and they get massive impressions and they think, oh great, click-through rate then basically puts that. The thing is, when you get good click-through rate, if the landing page or the well, is not engaging, then it's completely pointless and it doesn't work on itself. That's why bounce rate is a very good metric to go for click-through rate. It tells, if your the content after you click is relevant to the user search and things like that. Sessions and users, right? Take, for example, if you have 10,000 sessions and 10,000 users, you'd be like, well, oh, everyone's come to my app one time, right? But then if you have, for example, 10,000 sessions and 2,000 users, right, you'd be like, oh, every user's come back to my app 5 times, right? So you can't stick these metrics together. They can't be standalone metrics. Time on app and screen views per session. Now, time on app. The problem about time on app is there's no way of calculating the last time on the last screen or page, right? Because if they close the app, there's no record of it. So you need to know how many screen views they're going through. So to put the time on app, if they're going in depth into your app, what happens if they say, for example, let's take a website page, 30-minute session in Google Analytics, yeah? So if you come onto a page, they might just stay there, walk away, go make a cup of tea or something, and you look, oh, I've got 30 minutes on my website or app, right? Now, the screen view per session has to be there to see actually how well are they engaged with your app. And then the conversion rate and average order value. Now, if you're selling lots and lots of little things at a very small average order value, you might get a very fantastic conversion rate. It's one of the great metrics that marketeers love. I've got amazing conversion rate. Well done. But if you're always selling low-cost items, of course you're going to get a good conversion rate because they're fast consumer, movable consumer goods. So you need to put average order value on that to quantify it. So yeah, so that's me and pretty much finished. So thank you very much for listening to me, and thank you very much for having me on to talk about analytics.
Thank you so much, Theo. It was really an enlightening session. So you have cleared a lot of doubts that we had about analytics and everything. So it used to be one of the complicated areas that you have simplified in a very decent manner. And thank you everyone for being a part of this seminar. So we'll probably send the entire video of this session which we have recorded, and probably thank you so much for being a part of it. Thanks, Theo.
Thank you so please, if you've got any more questions, please get in touch with Digital Video, and I'm sure they'll pass them on to me, and I'll answer them for you.
Sure. As I get the question, I'll certainly get in touch with you and get them clarified.
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks.